Kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayeshaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayalkidem kemo egel Levanon vesirion, Kemoven re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavot esh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof ye'arot, Uvhechalok kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. Turning to the bottom of page 20, Ana Bechoach. Ana Bechoach, Bechoach, Gedulat Yemincha, Tatir Tzurura, Kaberinatamcha, Sagvenu Tarenu Nora. Ana Bechoach, Gedulat Yemincha, Tatir Tzurura, Kaberinat Rinatamecha, Sagvenu Tarenu Nora. Yai da da, yai dam vai da da, yada da da da, yada da da, yai da da da, yada da da. God, whose mighty hand makes nations free, release all captives. Hear our humble plea. Accept this plaintive song we offer you to praise and glorify your name. Preserve the righteous ones who seek you, who in love sing out your oneness. Guard and bless with your great goodness your people who revere your name. You, our God, who are alone exalted, turn to us. Hearken to our prayer, our thoughts revealed, laid bare before you, as your dominion ever we proclaim. Turning to Lecha Dodi, page 21. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, pene Shabbat nehekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, pene Shabbat nehekabela. Shamur vezachor bedibor echad, Mianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad, Ushemo echad l'shem utiferet. Elitila lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor, haberacha merosh mikedem, nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavati la. Lecha dodi likrat kahala, pene Shabbat nekabela, mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei, mitoch ha'hafecha ravlach shevet, be'emek habacha v'hu yachamol, alayichem la. Lecha dodi likrat kahala, pene Shabbat nekabela, hitna ari me'afar kumi, livshi big day, תפארתך מי על יד בן ישי, בית הלחמי קורבה אל. נפשי גאלה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני. עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תחמי. כך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר על תלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך. יסיס עלייך אלוהיך, כמשוש חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. היד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוחלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. And before we continue, I want to just acknowledge the recent passing of Gary Reese, who's brother-in-law of Gary, and to Gene Jackson. And also Dr. Alan Lippett, who was buried on Wednesday and memorialized here yesterday. Alan was the husband of Linda Nathanson Lippett, the father of Danny Lippett, blessed memory, Melanie and Scott Nathanson, and their spouses, Jeff and Kirsten, as well as Karen, Elizabeth, and Jennifer Lippett, and grandfather to Gus and Gunnar and Sam Jackman, and to the Jackson families, the Reese families, Lippett, the Nathanson families. We say Hamakom Yenechem Etchem B'toch Sha'ar Avei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God continue to comfort you all, along with all of the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We will continue in our service on page 23 with a psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir le'yom haShabbat, tov lechodot lahadonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, lechagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, ale asur ve'ale navel, Alehi gayon bechinor mizmor shir leyom hashabbat. Tov lehodot lahadonai. Ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Ki simchtani Adonai b'foalecha. B'masei yadecha aranin. Magadlu masecha Adonai. Meodam ku machshvotecha. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Ishbar lo yadim. Turning to the bottom of page 23. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez balvanun yizker shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Hod yenuvum beseva, deshenim verananim iyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai suri lelohav latabo. Adonai malach geut lavesh lavesh Adonai osi zarati kon tebel baltimot nachon kisachamim Mikolot maim rabim adirim mishpereyam adir bamarom Adonai edotecha neemnu meod levet chanava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. We'll turn again to the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, and invite those who are mourning or observing yahrzeit to rise as you're able. And feel free to unmute yourself online if you feel comfortable. And we will announce names at the end of our service as well. Yitgadal, B'Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Tivara Kirute, Yamlich Malchute, B'Chayechon U'Yomechon U'Chaye B'Chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'Gala V'Zman Kariv V'Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam Ulmei Olmaya. Yitbarach, V'Yishtabach, Yipa'ar, V'Yitromam, V'Yitnaseh. V'Yitadar, V'Yit'aleh, V'Yit'hala, Shemei Dekdusha, B'Richud. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imamav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. So before we turn it over to June, who's going to lead us in Mariv, just a few words about our Parsha. We are in Parshat Vayeshev, and question that my kids asked me recently, can't remember which one it was or what the context was, not really that important, but one of them asked me about Jewish heroes and said, I guess the question may have come up in school, if you could meet with somebody who was Jewish, a famous Jewish hero, alive or dead, who would that be? And, we are such a small population on this planet, such a small percentage of our own society here in America, let alone other places in the world. And we've certainly been driven out of a lot of different places. And, we have no shortage of people who we could turn to be perhaps our Jewish heroes. And so, you might think, that when I think about, who's a Jewish hero that I would want to spend some time with, countless people I could come up with, could be Albert Einstein. It could be, I'm a big baseball guy, as Jordan certainly knows. So it could be Sandy Koufax or Hank Greenberg, or even Moberg, if you know that name. That's a little bit more deeper baseball. It's an interesting story into itself. Could be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, there's just no shortage of names. Mel Brooks, the list goes on and on and on. And the answer that I gave was disappointing, um, because the answer that I gave, and it's a truthful answer, was my grandmother. My grandmother, my mother's mother. I mean, I had nice relationships with my father's parents as well, but I have this really enduring memory of my mother's mother. And she was a proprietor of a business in Henderson, Kentucky. So it's a small community with just a couple of Jewish families. When her mother-in-law passed in 1985, she took over the family business. It was a ladies' ready-to-wear store. And my grandfather, who I never met, he had died when my mom was a young girl. So, my grandmother, she was running this business. She was a single parent in a lot of ways. She was somebody who got really involved in the refugee resettlement movement. She was somebody who, really took tzedakah to heart, and she really took her religion to heart. And, this siddur that I've got here in front of me, whenever she would come visit, she would always, every single night, she would sit in her bed and she would read through her siddur. And I never looked in it until after she died. But what I would do is I would, whenever she was visiting, I'd say, Bubby, that's what I called her. I said, Bubby, what are you doing? What are you reading? And she said, oh, I'm spending time with an old friend. And when I opened up the siddur after she died, you can kind of see, if you're here, she has all of these notes that just fell out. And she has all of these lists of people that she was praying for. And she had all of these newspaper clippings because, her siddur really became a part of her soul. And she really internalized not just the prayers that she was saying, but I think it was very much her aspiration to live out the blessings and the prayers that she was saying. She really said them with all of her heart. And the siddur is, this is no different than any other siddur. There's nothing particularly special about it. It's just, a standard weekday prayer book that you might have gotten in the 1960s. But when you go to the Amidah, just like in any other siddur, when you read out the list of names, we say, blessed are you, Lord our God, God of the, King of the universe, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov. And then if you continue on with the matriarchs as we do here, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. And the name that's missing really, really glaringly is Joseph's name. And in fact, throughout our entire liturgy, while we dedicate, 4 chapters in the book of Genesis to Joseph's name, and, the story of him and his brothers and him being the favorite of Jacob, who, we are Bnei Yisrael, we are the children of Jacob, right? He being the favorite of all the sons, you would think that Joseph would have a prominent place in our liturgy, but he doesn't. And so the question that I've been wrestling with a lot today is, why is Joseph missing? Why is Joseph missing from our liturgy? And the names that we do proclaim, our ancestors, while they were great in some of their own rights, and I know Jerry's been studying a lot of this lately for this upcoming book he's going to write that we're all going to buy, and it's going to be a Jewish Book Award winner, and it's going to be wonderful when that happens. But, the ancestors that we invoke, while they were great in their own right, they were troubled people. Whether or not it was because Jacob who swindled his brother, or Abraham who led his wife on a wild goose chase all around the Middle East and nearly sacrificed his son, right? Whatever the case, these people were not necessarily perfect in their own right, but they are people who had covenants with God. Joseph is an interesting character because Joseph, as we've been learning over the past couple of weeks, as we continue to learn in Parshat Vayeshev, he's arrogant. He's full of himself. He internalizes very much the fact that he is his father's favorite. And even, a little bit down the road after Parshat Vayeshev, he even, despite knowing that he's his father's favorite, he has to make sure his father knows, that he's doing well down in Egypt. And, he makes a big scene of that. So, Joseph himself, he has his own hangups. But what's interesting about Joseph is perhaps the way that he internalizes When you think about Joseph and the progression that he makes, especially in Parshat Vayeshev, and really a lot of this happens when he gets thrown into the pit and he has his biggest, religious revival, his biggest religious awakening when he's in the depths of this prison. It's when he learns this humility. But, up until that point, right, Joseph is this person who really embodies what it means to inherit the teachings, to inherit this Jewish practice, to wrestle with God. While he himself wrestles in his own right, he internalizes that in a lot of ways. So when he is face to face with Potiphar's wife and he has to figure out what is he going to do, that's an internal conflict that he deals with. When he's in the pits of despair, right? When he has every reason in the world probably to feel sorry for himself, he wrestles and he figures out how is he going to befriend the jailer? How is he going to get along with the other people who are right there with him? Eventually, when he reunites with his brothers, he has to figure out how is he going to bury this, horrible treatment that he received at the hands of his brother. How is he going to put that resentment aside to be able to move on and to have a relationship with family, because that's something that he feels that he's able to do. And so, when I think about Joseph, it makes me think that in many ways he's a hero, not because, we would invoke his name, but because he's somebody who internalizes the teaching. He's somebody who really lives that out. And it makes me think that, all of us have those people in our lives that have been special to us. In my case, it's my grandmother, who, may be perfectly ordinary, but those people who are otherwise perfectly ordinary, who don't have great famous names, who don't do huge, huge things, the fact that they internalize what it means to wrestle with the tradition, to wrestle with our text, and to be able to put those things into action, those things, even though we don't necessarily call them out in our prayers directly by name, those people, that they are worthy of being seen in our lives as heroes. And I think Joseph, in many ways, is that type of person. He's an example for us, not because he was always a perfect person, but because when he inherited that tradition of wrestling, he did it in a way that was internal and not necessarily public. And we see that also in the way that he passes that on to Ephraim and Manasseh. When we give that blessing on Friday night, the priestly blessing that, we say to the children, to the grandchildren, that you should be like Ephraim and Manasseh. I like to think that Joseph teaches his two sons to be able to overcome that brotherly hatred that preceded them, to be able to say that, even when their grandfather blesses them with the wrong hands and the wrong order, that they're willing to put that aside and to be able to be brothers together and to be able to make peace. And whether or not that comes from Joseph's example, I don't exactly know, but certainly Joseph should be an example for us. And, we shouldn't necessarily emulate his arrogance, but hopefully we can learn from what it means to be Joseph and quietly wrestle in the way that our ancestors did as well. So my blessing for all of us this Shabbat is that we learn from Joseph, learn from his good traits, and learn to recognize the heroes that are in our own lives, even if they're not wildly popular or known, just to recognize them for all of the wonderful things that they have brought into our own lives and into the world around us. Ad Khan. At this point, I would love to invite up June to lead us through Mariv. Always great to hear your voice. And June will begin our Mariv service with the Baruch Hu. Wait, are we doing a Baruch Hu? No, not quite. Not quite yet. So we will begin the middle of the page on page 28 with the call to worship, page 28.
Oh, there is wine. Okay, we couldn't see this from my seat, but there is a Kiddush cup here. But El Hai v'kayom tamid yimlo haleinu le'olam v'hed Baruch atah Adonai ha'mahariv ha'ravim. Page 29. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael am ha'avita Torah u'mitzvot hukimu mishpatim otanu limadata Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shobeinu hukumeinu nasiya b'chukecha ונשמע בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויורח ימינו ויורח ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ויעבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisroel. Page 30. Shema Yisroel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavita et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'chayu adavarim ha'eleh asher Anohi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha havadere uvshovecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yedecha v'chayu letotafot beinenecha utavtaham al mezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha. Adonai Elohim Emet, page 32. Umalchuto b'ratzon kiblu alehem, Moshe uvnei Yisroel, lechachanu shira, v'simcha rabba, v'chamru kulam, mi chamocha, v'helim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, nohara tehilot, o sefeleh. Malchutecha, Rahu Vanecha, Bokei Ayom Lifnei Moshe, Zeheli Hanu V'Chamru, Adonai Yimlo Leolam Vahed, V'Nehemar, Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalo Miyad Hasahak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Goal Yisroel. On page 33, please join with me in English as we read the Hashkivenu. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and waken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads a shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisroel ve'al Yerushalayim. Please stand for V'shamru on page 34. V'shamru b'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם. איי איי איי, ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת vayinafesh. The Amida for Ma'ariv begins on page 35b, and it is read silently. Please join with me at the bottom of page 38 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'himeru, amen. Please remain standing for page 47, Vayehulu. Vayehulu hashamayim ve'haaretz ve'chol tzevam. Vayechal Elokim bayom hashvihi melato asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvihi mikol melato asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvihi. Vaykadesh oto, ki vo shavat mikol milato, asher barak Elohim lasod. And now for the Kiddush on page 49. Please raise your cup. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'avahu v'ratzon inhilanu, zikaron l'ma'aseh b'reishit. Ki hu yom tehila lemikraye kodesh, zeher litzihat mitzrayim, hivanu b'charta, ve'otanu hidashta, mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ava uvratzon inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Please remain standing for Aleinu on page 51. Aleinu b'shavenu Dom hakol Latevila Severeshi Shelo Asmi Ye'aratzot Velo Samani Kishpot Adama Shelo Samcho Kinukahem Vego Aleinu B'chol Hamonam V'anachnu Gorim V'shavenu Modim Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hakatuv v'toratecha Adonai yimlo leolam zohed v'ne'emar v'chayach Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
May be seated. On this, the 23rd of Kislev, in addition again to Gary Reese and Dr. Alan Lippitt, we are remembering Rosalind Holtz, the aunt of Michael Miller, Laura Mann, and David of Blessed Memory Miller, and Janet Hayashi and Joan Bristol, as well as relatives Donna, Mark, Noreen, Tommy, and Randolph. Also remembering Rav Mark Elovitz, father of Rachel Elovitz, Joe Cohen, husband to Susan, father of Rodney and Lori, and father-in-law to Terry, as well as a loved one to Patricia Cohen, stepfather to Greg Alterman, and Scott and Leslie Alterman, and grandfather of 3 and step-grandfather of 7, as well as Mark Cohen, the grandfather of Julia Cohen. Also on this day, we are lovingly remembering the art sites for Charlie Abelman, Richard Ander, Luis Brody Benson, Sadie Cohen, Etta Cuba, Jean Lawson, Phyllis Aronson Levin, Elliot Levitas, Al Newman, and Minnie Rudman. In addition to those names, we continue to lovingly recall in our hearts the friends and family of our daily minion who we've lost over the course of this last year, including Janet Liebman, a dear friend of Hazel. Rosalind Holtz, again, Gary Reese and Alan Lippitt, and Rav Mark Elovitz and Doe Cohen, Miriam Glassman, Mark Raphael Funk, Marvin Center, Lloyd Mendelson, Yona Vashivia, Larry Cohen, Joe Jones, Fred Taylor, Mike Copeland, Charles Buddy Schenker, Maria Del Pilar Lopez Aristizabal, Maria Velasquez, Charles Cass, Robin Prusen, Phyllis Boris, Betty Kaminsky Jacobson, Debbie Gold, Linda Bieber, Fran Drucker, Matthew Levine, Gail Ginsberg, mother to Josh, Edith Hahn, Michelle Weiss, Jeffrey Victor, Ben Cavalier, Janet Boris, Dr. Joseph Arnold, Judith Brickman, Libby Harris, Milton Saul, Judith Berg, Serge Wayner, Andrew Morton, Elaine Bieber, Robert Fearman, Phyllis Arnold, Robert Fine, Alan Kroll, Roland Mizrahi, Bob Sharon, Eunice Stein, Joanne Singer, Ellen Savitsky, and Linda Schaefer. Apologies to folks who are online, can't see who's around, but I hope I have not inadvertently overlooked any names, but with all of those names in mind and anybody we may have overlooked, we'll turn to the Mourner's Cottage, page 52. And if you're online, please feel free to unmute as you feel comfortable. Bit Gadal, Bit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Vilma Divarak Yute, Yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon V'yamechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Ubizman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabbah Mevarach, Elam Olmei Almaya, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Vipa'ar, Vitramam,
Sharman
V'yikaseh,
Mikase,
V'tadar, V'taleh, V'talal, Shemei Dekudsha, V'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'omav timu. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi
Yehi
shalama rabba
Shalom
mit
Rabba
shemaya,
Mikshemaya,
v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael
Israel,
v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Aseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh
Uyase
shalom,
Shalom,
aleinu
Aleinu
v'al kol
V'Yakol
Yisrael
Yisrael,
v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Before we conclude with Yigdal, just a few announcements. Of course, Shabbat Shalom. Good to have you all here at home. Good to have you all who are joining us online. So glad you're with us. Tomorrow, we begin our Shabbat morning services, as always, at 9:30. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, give them a call. Well, maybe not on Shabbat, but bring a friend if you can. Bring a friend next Shabbat. But it'd be good to have folks join us for Shabbat tomorrow morning at 9:30 and thereafter. We will have our Torah study at 10:30. And then after services, Rebbe's Tish around 12:30. We have our Israel roundtable discussion at 1 o'clock over in Parodies. So that should be great. 4:30, according to the website, and the website never lies. So 4:30, Mincha, Mariv, Suda Shlishit, Havdalah, all those good things will be happening here. So if you don't even want to go home, maybe you don't want to go back to Marietta. I'm looking at Jordan. Maybe you do want to go take a nap. Whatever the case, we will be here tomorrow for Mincha, Mariv, Havdalah, etc. at 4:30. Sunday is a big day because we also have our we have, I guess, 2.5 simultaneous Hanukkah celebrations going on. So we don't have religious school in the morning, but we do have our inclusion and disability Hanukkah party. I believe that starts at 3:30. You can check the website to confirm. But then we also have our family Hanukkah celebration, and all of this will culminate in Wayne Neuwirth blowing up fireworks at 6:15. So sparks of light at 6:15 if you want to come for that as well. I will have the dog in a car far away, hopefully, so he doesn't have to hear that. Yes, Rabbi? Yes. So Rabbi Shulamit has importantly reminded us that every year we host this wonderful inclusion party, and certainly we hope that everybody always feels included in what we do. But for those who have extra sensitivities, there will be a special gathering for them in Soroki. But at 5:30, that party will join with the general congregational party to have a truly inclusive Hanukkah candlelighting at 5:30 over by the gold doors. So please help us welcome in Hanukkah on Sunday. Would love to have you here for that. Lastly, I'll say a good thank you to Tyler Avshin for keeping us heard and seen, apparently. So thank you, Tyler. And want to say Yashikoch also to June for your beautiful Mariv, as always. And to, I think, Wesley's in the building, but whoever, either this Wesley or Ken, for cleaning up. And one thing you all don't realize, because you all didn't check your emails sometimes at 3:30 in the morning, but if you ever needed a buddy in the wee hours, Jordan Forman is a good companion to have because he's always awake and he's always emailing. And these we get these sheets over here that have all of these little tweaks to who's leading the service and who's doing the Devar Torah and who's doing this Torah reading and whose anniversary it is. And all of that happens while you all are blissfully slumbering away. So thank you to Jordan for always keeping us organized and making sure that people are honored and adding lots of good humor to those emails too. So we really appreciate everything you do. So we will conclude with Yigdal on page 53 and wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and a warm and safe evening. So June will come back for Yigdal and we'll conclude there.
Yigdal Elohim Chai, V'yishaba, Nitzav V'heneh, El Misiyuto, Echad V'yin Yahid, V'yihuto, Nelam V'gan Sof Le'aduto, Ein Lo Demut HaGuf, V'heino Guf, Lo Nacharoch Elav, Kedushachato, Kadmon L'Chol Davar, Asher Nivra, Rishon V'hein Reshit L'Reshito, Hino adon olam, v'chol no tsar, yorei gedulato, umalhuto, shivon nevuato, netano, elah anshe segulato v'tifarto, lo kam b'Yisrael, k'Moshe hod, navihu mahabit, et emunato, Torah temet natan, le'amo hail, al yad neviho, neman beito, lo yachel Yifrahel, velo yamir dato, le'olamim le'zulato, Sofei yodea, zetarenu, mabit l'sof davar bekad mato, gomei lish hesed, kemi falo, notain l'rasha ra, gerishato, Yisla l'ket shami, meshichenu, lifto pachakeke teshuato, Meitim Yechayel, Bero Fasto, Baruch Adehad, Shem Tehilato, Meitim Yechayel, Bero Fasto, Baruch Adehad, Shem Tehilato. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Take care.
Shabbat
Good
shalom.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
night. Take care.
It's warm up there.
Yeah. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
Thank you, darling.
Good Shabbos.
Thank you, Mr. Podber. You too.
You too.
For everything said.